All right. Good afternoon. Welcome to the U.S. Antarctic Program Data Center's annual webinar. Just to give a quick overview about what we'll be talking about for the first about 30 some odd minutes. I'll start with an introduction, who, what we are, the Antarctic data requirements for MSF and SCAR, and then I'll talk about the data center services that we provide to support you to meet those requirements. Then we'll talk about how to submit data and data fairness. And then we'll do the audience Q&A. So we'll get straight into it. What is USAP-DC? It's the U.S. Antarctic Program Data Center. We are one of many federally funded Antarctic repositories working together to support scientists. Some of our colleagues I've listed below, you might recognize their names. We are a long-term digital data repository, centralized repository that is usable and accessible by everyone, regardless of NSF award status. We're also a digital catalog of any NSF Antarctic awarded project. We are an AMD registration service and a representative to the Standing Committee on Antarctic Data Management. Who we are is a small team of people that you can see on the call right now. We have Frank Nietzsche, Kirsty Tinto, myself, and Alexander Strong. When you email info@USAP-DC, this is who you reach. It's just us, no automation, just us human people on the end. We are run by Antarctic researchers for Antarctic researchers with the goal to provide support for NSF digital data obligations, data reuse, fair data, scientific reproducibility, while also becoming an aggregate collection for enabling new science and supporting ongoing science. And speaking of digital data obligations, first we're going to touch on the NSF requirements, and then we'll talk about the SCAR requirements. First and foremost, NSF requires that you register your awarded project with USAP-DC. You can create a project landing page with us where you can host your data management plan as well. And as I said before, we're a long-lived and publicly accessible repository, so please archive your data, your digital data with us if you would like to. But do that within 2 years of collection, or at least 2 years after the end of the award date, whichever comes first. That is the stipulation from NSF. If you decide to archive your data externally, please provide us that link and host it on your project page. And then we also register any data that's archived with USAP-DC with the Antarctic Metadata Registry as well. Sorry, directory, AMD, not AMR. And then we also provide fairness support, and we archive fair, compliant data sets. And fair, just to stipulate, is findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable data sets. So the most open file format possible, giving a data set a digital and perpetual data set identifier, and including README or metadata with that data set. SCAR has pretty similar guidelines. They encourage open file formats, free and accessible to the public, that it should be provided within a timely manner, perhaps 2 years after the end of an award date, and that fair data principles should be applied to the greatest extent possible, and the data should be attributable with a perpetual identifier, that the authors should be have perpetual identifiers as well, and that a long-term creation plan be put in place for your data sets as well. These are readily available and very easy to access, and so I would take a look at those, both the NSF and the SCAR requirements, just because I'm giving a very quick high-level overview and I don't want to get into each individual line item. We support you in these for these requirements as a free to use, long-lived, publicly accessible digital data archive, as I said before. We have very easy project registration forms, which pretty much get auto-populated with your NSF award information. Internally archived data sets are automatically linked to those project pages on your behalf. We also provide bespoke fairness assessments to meet discipline standards and also SCAR's data reuse standards. We provide automatic metadata harvesting to the AMD, as I said before, but also data one in schema.org. All that dataset landing page information is then formatted in a way that's acceptable for metadata scrapers. We provide DOI registration for all datasets that are archived within USAP-DC. We provide two licensing options, with the default being Creative Commons by 4, to make sure that the data are open and citable and free to reuse. We also report annually to SCAR as a National Antarctic Data Center. So you don't have to do the reporting, we do the reporting on your behalf. So let's cover the services in the way that we support all of those individual things and those disparate project elements. We support everything from initial questions, supporting to data sets, data creation, data curation, and resulting publications and potentially new questions. We'll talk about the search-based functions that we have available first. The first, text-based, is we have free text fields. You can search by an award number, by person, by program, by repository, because as I said before, if you archive your data externally, we host the link at USAP-DC on your project page, and we make those searchable as well. We also have map-based search function, which is a beautiful, it's one of my favorite ways if you're a visual person and like to search that way. The map gets filtered by any search terms used in the text-based function. You can also layer data onto the map and really target your search that way. The NSF project page and the NSF project catalog is a pretty much catch-all for everything you need to know about a project. It contains a description, an abstract, creates a list of personnel. We register it with the AMD. We can host your data management plan, all of your linked data sets, links to publications, interoperable keywords, and this map info in the top right, which you can add manually, that feeds into the map-based search function. So as I said before, you can add your external links, and those will be hosted on your page, as well as internally deposited data sets. This becomes really an aggregate for any data set connected to an award, will end up on this project page, or should end up on this project page by the NSF requirements. Please upload your data management plan. This is just a call. It would make your PO very happy. And I'd also like to just quickly put it out there in case you missed it. Effective April 27th, you're no longer making your DMP separately. You're uploading them through the NSF website at the research.gov portal. Just to keep that in mind as deadlines start to come up. Just wanted to let you know if you didn't already. Landing pages are editable by any collaborators that are linked to the project page and also the dataset page. We highly recommend you use your ORCID or ORCID to log in so you can continue to use that author persistent identifier that SCAR recommends in their list of requirements. And you can use this to add your externally archived datasets, add your publications, add your abstract details. Even though the abstract deals do get populated automatically from the NSF award, we encourage you to go in and fluff it up however you would like, add more detail, can't hurt. Then we have the dataset archive. The dataset landing pages look very similar, but contain the DOI, link to the AMD record for your dataset, the basic metadata and the abstract, the NSF award it's linked to, the project page that is linked to both the NSF award and this dataset that it's associated with, and references that can be added manually. These are harvested by Data 1 and the Antarctic metadata directory. As I said before, this is formatted in a way that is compatible with metadata scrapers. We provide a simple README, which is populated from our data deposit form. It's a text file, very easy, very straightforward, provides a lot of helpful metadata in case you don't have your own README. But if you do have your own README, please include that as well. We also have data previewing now. Thank you, Alex. For open file formats, you can preview the data before you download it. It's only available for certain open file formats, though. And then for downloading, you can select individual files, do a catch-all, and then a simple CAPTCHA to prevent too much high traffic throttling. But it's pretty straightforward. I wanted to let you know that if you're interested in an API, we do allow downloading by API. Please email us and we can give you a unique key that's keyed to your ORC ID. And so you can continue to use that API key to make any downloads and any requests from our repository. However, we do consider anything over 5 gigs to be large that is not available by API. It's also not available to download on the website. There is a contact us button. You hit that, you email us, you tell us that you would like this large data set. There is a file list available for preview. And so you can either decide to download the entire thing and request the entire thing, or even just make a selection out of the large data set that's available. And you let us know, and we'll be happy to support you with that. If you haven't seen it yet, all of this is aggregated on your user dashboard. It's a really easy centralized hub for identifying your projects, your data sets. Um, and it's very straightforward. We are soon implementing collections. This will allow you to make an aggregate of data sets and projects. Perhaps if you're, for example, part of the IceFin project and there are a lot of separate awards, and those awards have separate project pages and separate data sets, and you'd like to create a collection with all of the authors, all of the researchers who have contributed to the IceFin project under one unique URL, that would be available and editable via linking a user to that page. Oops, I forgot to put that in. It is really like a broader scope project page, and so treat it like a project page rather than a personal collection of data that might be interesting to you. Um, I don't know if you noticed here, it also has our FAIR evaluation on the dashboard for your data sets. We have a very bespoke, very rudimentary sort of bespoke internal rubric. It just is a very simple poor, okay, good, or not applicable. And each line item is uh, a quality of fairness that either has been sent to us for discipline or that is a universal standard amongst the Antarctic research community. You can see your details of each one on the dataset landing page. The fairness details are only available for USAP-DC curators and the linked authors or contributors at this time. You can see every single line item. You can see your aggregate score. And anytime that there is, you have a question about it, there should be a comment left by the curator detailing why you may have gotten a poor or a good or even an okay score for that. And that could be anything from not having a CSV or having an XLS instead. However, we do recognize that XLS is still an industry standard for some disciplines, and so we do take that into account. Just wanted to, if you're feeling nervous about FAIR, I just wanted to ease some concerns. We are a very fair data repository. We provide so many of these services that really the thing to do to be most fair is to just deposit your data with the USAP-DC. Your open data will contribute to the overall fairness of the data center, but literally just giving us your data is the best step forward. And we'll be happy to have it. So how do you submit your data to USAP-DC? If you go to the main page, www.usapdc-dc.org, you can either go up to the top left and go to contribute and deposit dataset there, or you can hit the deposit dataset button right on the main page. We recommend logging in with your ORC ID to ensure that your author persistent data identifier can really keep you linked throughout the entire repository. What you can expect from data, and I'll go through this. What you can expect from the data pipeline is that you'll submit the data, a curator will review your submission, begin the ingestion, and once we begin the ingestion, those data sets are publicly downloadable unless you'll put them under embargo, which I will discuss. We are going to email you and have you confirm potentially if there are any changes to confirm some of those changes and address those, but just to confirm that everything looks good, everything is exactly the way you wanted it, and then we can then complete the data archive, give you a DOI, and you can move on to your future work. So the dataset deposit form is very straightforward. It auto-populates when possible. Has quite a few fields in it, a lot of free text fields. Please feel free to add anything you'd like. I will say that the free text boxes for the metadata are the things that populate the README on the dataset landing page. And so you can use this in lieu of creating your own README or in support of your own README. And it will help the reproducibility of your data set and for future reusers to add as much metadata as possible. We really encourage it. I also wanted to add that saving does not submit your data set. It just saves every information so you can come back to this at any time. You do not feel do not feel obliged to submit something that you're not happy with. Save it, come back to it, take your time with it, and then submit your data as needed. I just provided a really quick data checklist for the deposit form. Feel free to screenshot or send it around, whatever you'd like. Wait for the recording in case you need it. We do use some of these elements in our fairness assessment. So for example, a data set title, we would prefer something that is extremely descriptive, easily understandable and noticeable by a user who's just browsing through the website. The less descriptive, maybe the less helpful in the long run. Again, think about what you would want when looking for a data set. How would it benefit you? And then try to do that. So we'll review our licensing options. We only have 2 licensing options. They're both open licenses. Our default, as I said, is Creative Commons by 4. The NSF policy is that license should be non-restrictive, and so the only 2 we provide are fully open, and you can pick which one of those best suits your needs. And as I mentioned before, as soon as datasets begin ingestion, they are publicly accessible on our website, unless you put this under proprietary hold or embargo, and that can happen for a number of reasons. If you meet some of these reasons, please discuss with us because as required by NSF, data must be public after 2 years after collection or at the end of the grant, whichever comes first. So contact your program officer and let them know that this is either being asked of you or that you're still working on the data set, but that you're making a big push and big effort to get this done in time. And also while it's under proprietary hold, both reviewers nor the public will be able to download the data directly from us. So if this has been asked, if you've been asked by a publication to put this under embargo, we recommend that you find alternative means for them to download the data. But if you want to have the dataset page on hold to show that you will be producing this and publicly, then we can work with that, of course. Again, if there are any questions during this process, if somebody has asked you to put it under embargo, please email us. We're happy to help. We have a lot of flexibility in what we can offer. So when you upload your data, here's a quick data product checklist that you can just shoot through as you're going through to upload your data. Is it a final data product? We hope so. We encourage it to be your final data product. Is the file format open? We hope so, as open as possible, as Scar says. Is the file name good? Is it user-friendly? Is it easily identifiable when you hit that download button and it goes into your big folder of downloads? Can you find it again? What is it called? Those are some things we keep in mind when we upload them. Also, we do have rate limiting in our uploads, but don't let that deter you. If your file is over 250 megabytes, which a lot of them are, we recognize, just upload a text file placeholder and then contact us and organize a way to deposit the rest of the data set for you, and we can upload that on the back end for you. If it's a large data file, like over 5 gigabytes, as we described before, we can also figure that out and we'll set that up properly for you. So I expect you've hit submit at this point. You've knocked every tick box on both checklists for your data sets, for your dataset landing page and for your data sets. And one of us will get back to you to roughly 1 to 5 business days. We'll begin the ingestion. Again, data sets are publicly downloadable at this point, and then we're going to email you with feedback. When that email comes through, you can just send us a quick yes, confirmed, but recommend you look at the dataset landing page first. Make sure your dataset is exactly the way you want it. This is around the point where we can start making modifications. You can email us with further edits to the landing page or edit the landing page yourself. This is also around the time where we do our fair data assessment. And so just keep that in mind. You'd be able to pop over, look at your fair data assessment, and this would be one of the final opportunities before you get your DOI. We say once the DOI is registered, that data file should not change. Any modification after that point should be a new version of a data set. If at this point you've received your fairness assessment, you've realized, or your header is incorrect in a CSV file, this is the point to make that change. You can make it via email, and then that will be your final product. And any changes after that will be a new version of a new data set, if that makes sense. Dataset landing page text can be changed at any time through the edit button, and that will not affect the version of your data set. We're really trying to make sure that the data themselves that get deposited with USAP-DC are in a final product, and so that anytime somebody downloads that, they are consistently working with a data set that has a DOI that is a specific version. Metadata can change on the landing page. So once the DOI, again, is issued, the data set is complete, and you're free to move on to your future work in generating publications and new versions of every data set. We do host all deprecated versions on USAP-DC. They don't go away. A banner comes up at the top that says a newer version exists. Please click here. On your project page in that table of data sets, we just mark the old one as deprecated and have the new one available and existing. The process of versioning your data set is very easy. You can do it from the editor, which is one of the reasons why if you want to change your data file before the DOI is minted, you change it in the editor, it will automatically kick in a version control. But don't worry, we have a handle on it. This is the easiest way to do it, but you can also make modifications from your dashboard. Again, you may need a new version if a DOI has already been issued, if the dataset has been publicly downloadable for a very long time. If it has been downloaded in a high traffic manner, then you might want to go for a new version of a dataset. Again, email us always to check. Adding publications to datasets is also very easy. It's through the editor, and you can add in your DOI and your citation manually. We also do harvest from Crossref. We look for award numbers to try to automatically add publications on your behalf. It doesn't always catch everything. And so if something comes through and you want to make sure that it's on your dataset page, you want to make sure it's on your project page, add it manually. And that is sort of the lifespan of a data set and how we support it and all the NSF requirements and how we support those and how we support you and hopefully encourage you to keep doing science and depositing data with us and putting in proposals and continuing to push the bounds of science forward, particularly Antarctic research. At this point, I'm going to open it up to questions. I'll stop the recording and just wanted to say thank you so much. And I hope I didn't speak too quickly. And if you'd like me to go back to any slides, any of us can answer any of your questions and expand further on any of the topics. So thank you so much.